Okay, we can probably get started and I'll watch and let people in as
Okay, we'll start with our introductions. You want me to start since I'm
sure.
at the front? All right. Hi, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Annette Ziegler. I have been with ASN for a year. I teach the sales training classes. So a lot of you here I know. I've had over 20 years experience in home care, and I love doing what I do now, training people how I succeeded, helping our agency grow from 1 million to 4 million. And I really enjoy teaching you all the tips and tricks. And today we have a great class. Go ahead, Don.
Yep, I'm Dawn Fiella. I've been with the Proof Senior Network close to 3 years. Actually, it's this month. I think it's the 10th. I can't remember.
Oh,
But it's been a whirlwind,
yes.
but a fun whirlwind. I've also been in home care for a really long time. I love growing the home care private pay side of the business. We have a home care sales training class where Annette is teaching people how to do that and all the things that worked for all those years. They also worked for Lisa and Annette are in that sales training. We do a lot of educating here in Mastery Circle as well. So welcome and thank you for letting us be a part of this. I still love home care, so this keeps me in.
Sure
Lisa.
does.
I am Lisa Marcellet, and I too, all those things that they just said, that's me. I was in home care forever, and I just love home care and love being a part of your guys' journey. So I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. And I think I've been with ASN for 2 years now. If you didn't know, now you know. Is Valerie here?
I don't think Valerie's here. Maybe she'll
Okay.
join. I know she had another meeting today, so we
Okay.
can continue.
Yeah.
All right. So, housekeeping, lines muted unless speaking, share stories, experience tips, ask questions. We love to hear from you, make recommendations, and tell us what you want to know.
And here's the chat. I just sent a little something in the chat for you guys so you know where it's
Okay.
at.
In our agenda, we always try and think of topics that you could relate to, and we thought this was going to be a good topic today. Topic objections from families and seniors have about home care and how to address them. So we're going to talk about helping seniors feel comfortable with home care when you're doing your assessments, top objections from families and seniors, and communication strategies for addressing the objections. We'll have questions and answers. If we don't cover or answer anything that you'd like to hear, let us know. And then Lisa's going to review May, June, July leave behinds.
Yep.
All right. So many of you here, I'm sure, do assessments, and we know it's not always, we wish it was like that. You walk in, they sign the paperwork, everything's good. It's not that. It's people have objections. It's really common for seniors to resist the idea of home care at first. Even when the family sees the need, many older adults feel unsure or even defensive about having help at home. When a home care representative visits the senior at home, your goal is to have a friendly conversation, explain what home care is, how it can help them. But very often seniors push back. They say things, I don't want help, I don't want somebody, I don't want somebody in my house. I'm doing just fine on my own. These objections, they usually come from a place of worry, pride. This is the generation that we're dealing with right now. You have to listen, not apply pressure, calmly explain what home care is, and that it's not taking them over. It's about offering a little support to make their life easier while letting the seniors stay in control. And the end goal is to have them feel comfortable enough for when, that you sign them up and they begin services with your agency. And like I said, for many of you, I know Lisa, myself, Dawn, going in that house, having them feel comfortable. I'd say, I don't know what percentage Dawn and Lisa would say, but I'd probably say maybe 15 to 20% just sign. Everything's good. Come in, we're
Yeah,
done.
it's a small number for
Or
sure.
should I say 90%?
Yeah, where they open the door and
10%,
go, we've been
10%.
waiting for you. Please come in. That
Yeah,
like really, the
yeah.
adult children are all over it, but no, the seniors,
Yeah.
they're not
So
for
we could,
that. I agree with everything you're saying in it. And the hard part, I don't know, everywhere I've worked, I did the marketing and I did the assessment. I did both. And so it was like, God, I finally got a referral. I'm so excited. She finally referred. But then if you don't sign it, it's all of that for what, you know? Not that it's all about the business or it has to be signed. I always felt good about signing because I know they needed it. Every senior on the planet needs it, right? We only get in front of the ones that have had trouble pretty much. It would be nice if everybody started signing up as a preventative measure. But I agree with you, Annette. Like they don't want the help. They don't want someone in the house. They don't know. There's all kinds of excuses they will come up with in getting through that barrier. And I don't know how many times you guys have been on the phone an adult child and they're like, my dad, I don't know if he's even going to talk to you when you walk in. Like he really, and I would always say none of them want it. They all really don't want to do this. So if you can tag team with that adult child, I think it helps a lot. And that's got a lot of tips for you. But anyway, that's been my take. And I would agree. It's probably 15% that is open
There's
arms.
no issue. They're just
Yeah.
signing. Yeah,
There
for
are
sure.
some, they seem to be women mostly. They just like the attention of having someone in the house. If you guys had those, that's probably the 15. They like that someone's
Right.
dancing for them and they're getting attention. So anyway,
Like we said, as a home care representative conducting the assessments, it's more and more common to encounter objections than immediate agreement to service. You're there sealing the deal. If you leave and you didn't sign them up, you didn't close them. When these objections are addressed with empathy, active listening, clear communication, trust can be built, and the individuals are more likely to agree to receive the care they need. And I don't need help. I'm not ready for help. I don't want a stranger in my house. Home care is expensive. I don't want to lose my independence. My family should take care of me. I had a bad experience. I'm afraid of theft or abuse. These are all things that we know that we've heard, and we might even be missing some, but these are
I
very,
have
very
one
low.
for you. I don't want someone
Okay.
in my house telling me what to do. That was the
Yeah.
big one.
It's important to know how to handle the rejections. They're natural and common. Most seniors, they feel hesitant. Resistance is very normal. They have fear, they have pride, they have embarrassment, they want to stay home. They think they can stay home forever and not have help. They just,
Mhm.
like I said, it's the generation. And poor handling can shut down the conversation. So the objections are dismissed or met with pressure, they're gonna lose your trust, and it could be lost very quickly. So you can't just walk in there and just put that paperwork down, let's sign and let's get started. You have to create that relationship. And I remember, I have to say, doing the assessments were probably one of my favorite things of home care. Yeah, I was in marketing,
Yeah.
but I loved going in the house, looking at their collections, talking about,
Yeah.
wow, that conversation, like having them feel comfortable with you. That's the first part. So you have to make a connection with them at first. Empathy builds trust, listening patiently and validating their concerns helps seniors feel heard and respected. Objections, handling opens the door, responding thoughtfully creates space for open dialogue and honest reflection. And it's not about convincing, it's about supporting. So your goal is to guide them towards a decision to start home care and to be happy about it. I don't know, Dawn or Lisa, if you have anything to add to that.
I would just say the way you handle the objection is going to really be impactful. So for the one who says, I don't want anyone to tell me what to do, I would say, no, you're 93 years old. Why would anybody come into your
Uh-huh.
house and try and tell you what to do? That's not what this
Right.
is about. So the way, because that just puts him at ease. He's feeling, you could even see like this wall and his whole face. You're 93. You've earned the right to decide what you're going to do. I agree with you. So that would just put the guard down. He'd open up and then we could really talk. Because until that wall's down, they're not listening to you anyway. They're not. They're just sitting there pouty and they don't want to do it. And until you
Right.
get that wall to come down, you're really wasting your breath. Coming in, looking at the house, you're not like checking things out, but there usually is some kind of collection or
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah.
picture or their dog or their cat. There's something where you
Right.
can connect. And doing that's going to be really important because sometimes they won't even tell you their objection because they don't even feel like you've earned that from them. So
True. True.
connecting right away will be important too, as Annette said.
Yeah, they have to learn to trust you. And then you can tell just warming up to them and they feel so much more comfortable. That's why when I would talk to inquiries over the phone, I would encourage the family member, let me come and talk to your mom or dad. We will do a free assessment. I always felt it was, and I explained to them, when I meet your mom or dad in person, it's so much different. They understand it. I'm explaining things to them. And I'm sure Lisa and Dawn feel the same way, but your chances of getting them to sign up with you is going to be so much better if you can see them in person.
For sure.
Because they don't know
Yeah.
what they're getting, they don't know what they're getting themselves into.
And I think that's an important point you make too, Annette, is when you're on the phone with that adult child, is trying to get in front of them because so many of them, oh, I'll call you back. Sometimes they have to because they're at work or there's something going on. But if it feels like they're just pushing it off because they think this is an impossible situation, making sure they really understand. I've gone so far as I understand your dad doesn't want this. No, you don't understand. He might call you a name. He might not let you in the door. He might do this. And I go, is he going to throw something at me? Because that happens. So I'm good. I have thick skin. I've been in this industry a long time. Even if you throw something at me, I'll duck. It's all good. I think it's better if I come and speak with you. And most of the people I meet with don't want the services and they're not happy about it. So
Right.
this is not different for me, I promise. And then when you get there and they see their dad opening up, that you can just see the shock on their face. They can't believe it's happened. I agree with you, Annette. That's exactly how it's gone down for me too.
And those, the
Yep, all
tougher
of that.
ones sometimes were challenges, but I'll tell you, when you walk out that door and you won them over, it's a good feeling. And
But
Yeah.
then you have to make sure the caregiver does the same. So
yes.
there's one more hump to get over, but it works usually.
Yeah.
And sometimes the toughest client I ever had turned out to be my poster child.
Those are
So
always my favorite.
Always, I don't know what it must love a challenge. I don't know. They've always been my favorite.
So I don't need help. That's something you're going to hear often. Many seniors don't recognize it. They don't want to admit they're struggling. They feel like they're admitting to weakness, failure, especially those who've lived very independently their whole lives. They take pride doing things on their own, and then all of a sudden they can't drive, they can't take a shower without somebody helping them. It's tough for them to accept that. I think about it myself. I know it's probably going to happen to me one day, but it's a hard thing to accept if you can't do the things that you used to do. So, how to respond, gently acknowledging their desire to stay independent, validate their feelings, understand what they're saying. Don't disagree, of course. Reframe home care as a tool to preserve their independence, not take it away. You want to stay home, you
Right.
want to age in place in your beautiful home. We can provide you with a little extra care to do the things that are hard for you right now. You can stay here, offering small, non threatening options. Maybe we'll start out with a few hours a week, just giving you a little support. You can try it out and see how it goes. Using a language, and I like this too, like a little help around the house rather than assistance or care. The words
Yeah.
that you use make a big difference. A lot of times they think they're getting aides and nurses and they're in a skilled nursing environment. No, we're helping hands. You're living independently. You just need that little extra help. We're going to help you. Some of you probably get your homes cleaned or house cleaned or you have your lawns cut. There's things that we do that, wow, it's nice to have somebody help us do something. So just say just a little extra help rather than using words that are make them feel like they're incapable. And share examples of other clients who felt the same way at first, but found it made life easier and more enjoyable, and they were able to age in place wherever home may be. They want to stay home, but getting that little extra support is going to help them stay home and live independently. So just really understanding how they're feeling. And it could take a while too. Of course, I would try not to do 2-hour assessments. My goal was like an hour.
Hour. Yeah, you really do
They're
try
a
to.
little longer, but I would say an hour, right, Don?
Yeah, an hour.
You can't be there 2 or 3 hours. It's just not going to happen. You have to
And
learn
for
how to.
those of you that are just really sweet, the seniors love you when you walk in the door and they say to you, "Are you going to be my caregiver?" It's happened to me.
Oh,
You're so
same.
skinny. I've got some cookies. The way to, if you're that person where they just attach, when you come in so that you can keep it in an hour, I have another appointment in a little bit. Just like preface, not that you're in a hurry or they're not important, but just that I have another appointment in just over an hour. So let's get started.
Yeah.
Just if you feel like because they'll keep you there all day
Yes.
and you've
Yes.
got marketing.
I mean,
So I found, because I've had really sweet marketers that were very effective, but they were good to just sit
yeah.
there all day and have cookies and watch TV with them. I don't know, because it is your favorite part. It was my favorite part too, doing the
Right.
assessment, but more than an hour. If a whole family's there, it could take longer, but I would say you
Right.
should shoot for an
Yeah,
hour.
Yes. And I used to do the
definitely.
same thing. I would do the same thing too. I would just say, I have to get to another appointment. You have to like keep like trying to get it going and keep it moving along. I mean, there were times where I had somebody, they were just not going to agree. Sometimes you just have to go, okay, you have to end it, get back to them, but you don't want to be there for hours. Okay, understanding the I'm not ready yet mindset. So when a senior says I'm not ready, it often reflects again their desire to maintain independence, a reluctance to get help, even with a little support. And safety. They're just not ready. Avoiding the emergency route. I used to say this often. Many people want to wait till there's a fall, there's a health care. And I would always explain you don't want to wait till an emergency situation. Start now, a little help, because then if you do fall, say we're there 3 days a week, just doing some little tasks, and then you fall, And then all of a sudden you need somebody every day. It's going to be so much easier for you to call our office and you're already a client of ours and we could just add hours.
Yeah.
If it's an emergency situation and you call us, we might not be able to start right away. We might not have caregivers. We
Yeah.
hope not, but we all know that happens. So telling them, you don't want to wait till an emergency. Stay ahead of problems. Waiting until something happens can limit your options. And it can. I used to have people that I went and did assessments for. They were ready, and then they would finally call me and they need to start like that day, and we couldn't start. But we would always, if they were our client, of course, we would do everything we can to start them.
Yeah.
Start small, stay independent. Home care can begin with a little help. Maybe we're just depending on what your minimum hours are. Maybe you could just start out with 1 day a week, 4 hours, or a few days a week with a few hours a day. Just helping them getting used to it, and then they have home care in place.
I used to say to them too, Annette, to speak to your point, just if you're in the system, being in our system is it's a huge
VIP.
benefit to you. Because if there is an emergency, so the 1 day for 4 hours, like you're in the system now, and you will take priority over somebody new, even if they have an emergency, because you're already in the system, you're already a client.
Yeah.
I think that's
You're a VIP.
yeah.
You're
It's a
a
good
VIP.
way to get them to sign up for just something, especially when you can tell they really need 20 hours a week. But this
Right.
is as far as you're going to be able to go for now. Yeah.
And then family
Definitely.
relief, always they could be upset with their daughter or their son that are there. They're all trying to get the adult children. If it was to the adult children, we'd be signing up seniors right and left. We know that. But letting them know you're going to give your son or your daughter, your family peace of mind, knowing that you're safe. They're worrying. Maybe the adult children live out of town. And even if they don't, they're all working, they're busy. They have families on their own, giving them peace of mind. You took care of your kids. Think of it as them taking
Yeah.
care of you. They want to make sure that they don't have to worry about you. So it's family relief. It's giving them peace of mind. And again,
Definitely.
they can gradually increase hours if they need it, adjust the level of care as needs change. And that is why it's better to start before there's an emergency situation. Now, we know many of them wait till an emergency situation, but if they're smart and they can plan it out in advance, it's the best way to do it. And just like we're talking today, this is how you're talking in a way, you're talking to the client. Just having the simple conversations with them. Okay. I don't want a stranger in my house. You hear that often. It's completely natural, hesitant to feel about letting someone in your home, focusing on that you're a reputable agency, your caregivers are trained and trustworthy, acknowledging and validating the concern. A lot of people feel this way at first. You're letting somebody into your space. Totally understand that. Emphasizing familiarity over time. We're going to match a caregiver. That's what we do. I always spoke really the reason why I come to see you is I want to make sure that we find the perfect fit. It's not going to be a revolving door. We're going to make sure we place a caregiver with you that's going to be a good fit for you. We have many clients that tell us that their caregiver feels like a friend once they get to know them and family. And we all know that's true for many of our clients. They get very close to their caregivers. Highlighting safety and screening, letting them know all your caregivers are background checked, insured. We wouldn't send anybody with you that we wouldn't trust with our own family members. And framing it as help, not intrusion. Our caregivers are there to support you. They're going to respect your routine and your space. We're not coming in to take over. We're going to do a care plan set to whatever you need. I remember we had some clients that we would go in and do the tasks, and then they would say, I want the caregiver when they're done to go sit in the kitchen and read a book. Okay, that's okay. We'll do it. We had some like that.
Yeah.
And offering trial and control. You're always letting them know they're always in charge. We can change caregivers if it's not a good match. I always said we were so good at making a good match, but sometimes maybe it wasn't a good match. Give us a call. Let us know. We can switch it out. Sometimes we think we picked the perfect person and then they just don't vibe together. Telling them to try it out for a couple weeks. There's no pressure or long-term commitment. I don't know if Lisa or Dawn, you got anything to add on the stranger thing?
The only thing I would add, and maybe you have it somewhere else, is that sometimes the ones that don't want a stranger in their house feel like they have to get ready for the caregiver. I don't know if you guys have had this. I don't want my caregiver to come because I'm sick today. And it's like,
Yes.
that's why she's coming. So when if I were to talk about this part and I'm sitting with a type A senior who I know is going to get up and tidy up the house before I would make that statement because I've lost clients for that reason. My mom's tired of getting ready for the caregiver. When the caregiver
Right.
comes, she's tidying up, she's doing all these things and it's exhausting her. So when I would do my assessment, I would bring that up if I felt like that was the type of person I was sitting with, because you can usually tell. And I would just say the caregiver's here to help you. That doesn't mean you need to do anything, even shower if you don't want to.
Right.
They're coming to help you. So please don't tidy up the house. Please don't feel like you have to host them or do any of those types of things. So
Right.
I
No,
would, I don't know
that's
if
a
we're
good
going to
point.
cover that later on in the slides, but that I've lost a couple clients because of that, which seems crazy, but it's just the way
Yes.
people think.
They feel like they
Yeah.
have to get dressed and have their lipstick on and
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
my
fine. I
hair
have to put
done.
that
I
Yeah.
have to put clothes on today because the caregiver is coming. I'd much rather be in my pajamas.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's like they're having a guest in their home. It's usually
Right.
those
Right.
perfectionist type people. Absolutely. Okay. So my family should take care of me. Okay. Yeah. And
The hard one.
from that generation, some seniors, they feel my family should be there. I don't need any help. Sometimes it's due to their tradition, the sense of duty within the family, their culture, letting them know your family, understanding how they're feeling. Your family cares deeply for you. And bringing a caregiver can actually help be more present emotionally instead of them being overwhelmed by physical tasks. And home care doesn't replace your family. What it really does, it allows your loved ones to be family again. Instead of your daughter coming over and cleaning your house, going to get the groceries and helping you shower, your daughter can be your daughter again. She can come
Yes.
and spend time with you. And when you talk to, I remember talking to clients that way, and it helped them understand they need a little help too, the family member, and they want to just come and visit their mom and not have to come and do all these tasks. Many family members want to help, but they have other obligations. They're working, they're feeling guilty, they have other families. Caregiver ensures you're never without the support. Maybe your daughter can only come over once a week. We can have our caregiver there 3 days a week. They're going to get everything you need done. And then your daughter could come on the weekend and take you out, go out to lunch, do something fun, or just sit and talk. And getting home care takes pressure off the family. Inviting a professional doesn't mean your family has failed. It means you're making sure your care is safe, consistent, and dignified. So just understanding how they feel. Sometimes they forget that the son or daughter is busy with work or they have kids with their soccer games. And I think when they hear it from somebody else, it helps them understand that. And like I said, sometimes it's their tradition, their culture. Some of these clients that you meet with, they're used to, they took care of their mom and dad. So why aren't their kids taking care of them? But we live in a different generation now. People are really busy, especially with their families. Okay.
And then,
Any
I think
questions?
this is a good, oh, sorry.
go ahead,
I
Lisa.
think this is a good takeaway too for family members because a lot of the time they feel like they must take care because the parent wants them to and makes them feel bad if they don't. And yes, of course, we're always going to take a little bit of care, right? But having a caregiver come in and be able to do all those things. And I remember using that all the time where I would say, this lets your family be your family. This lets your husband be your husband. This lets your,
Right.
and seeing it sometimes click in their head when you say that, and then the family member, they're already on that page, but they feel bad because their parent wants them there and they know that. So I think this is a great conversation to have with the whole family, including the client. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other
Good.
piece of this too is when you're taking care of your family, and I say this to all of them, you're emotionally attached to your mom. You're
Right.
emotionally attached to your dad. It is much harder for you to do these things because you're emotionally attached. The caregiver's gonna love your mom or dad too, don't get me wrong, but they don't have a lifelong history with this person. When mom is having trouble standing with the caregiver's, I'm going to give her a little bit of support. A daughter's, oh my God, look at my mom. It's just hard. It's very hard to watch. So this also helps with that piece of it. They get to be the daughter again. And it's just much harder for a family member because they're emotionally attached. So I always tried to get that into my assessment talk too, especially with this
Yeah.
dynamic here. I want my daughter to know
Right.
all of it. Yeah.
And then there's some of those people that are just stubborn and they are like, nope, my daughter should be doing this. It's like
Yes.
making them feel bad. And
Mhm.
but what do you expect? She has kids and works and she's exhausted. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one for sure.
And I think the family members really love when you have this conversation in front of them
Oh, they
too.
do.
Yeah.
'Cause they feel
Because
validated. Finally,
they're like,
somebody
oh,
understands, and I'm not a bad daughter because I can't be here 24/7. Yeah.
absolutely. If you guys have any questions, remember we've got the chat. Feel free to ask. Home care is too expensive. This is a big one. We know
Yeah.
many families, they're concerned about cost, especially when services aren't covered by insurance and they have to be paid out of pocket. It's a big one. They may be able to afford it. They could have millions of dollars, but they're still not, they're not spending their money. Acknowledge their concern. I completely understand. Cost is one of the first questions that many people have. Break down the cost for them. Many letting them know that many families may start just a few hours a week with the basics. We can work with your budget. We can set a care schedule that works for you. Maybe they can't afford a lot, but maybe they can't afford somebody every day for 4 hours, but they can afford somebody every other day. Letting them know that you can work with them. Comparing cost to alternatives. I used to always say this. You want to stay home? It's going to be cheaper for you to stay here than letting them know if you're moving to a skilled nursing facility or assisted living or a memory care, it's going to be more expensive. Maybe you're going to spend $4,000 a month for our services, but if you moved into the assisted living, it's going to be 8,000. Sometimes if you're talking about cost and alternatives, we're the expert. We know the prices. So, they're listening to us, which is true. Sometimes it puts it into perspective. Yeah, okay, I guess maybe I do. Maybe I'll spend the 4,000 a month and have somebody here every day for a few hours and I could still stay home and be happy. Mention possible financial support options. I can tell you many times I had clients that had long-term care insurance and they never even knew, or they had it and they had no idea that home care was covered. As we know, every policy is different.
Right.
They always have to call their long-term care agency, see what's covered. Some have policies that cover everything. Some just cover for certain situations. Some will just cover nursing home, but there's many long-term care policies that cover home care and they don't even realize it. They may have VA benefits. They may have some other benefits that maybe could help with the cost. Offer customized care plan. Again, talk about their specific needs and see what could work for them. And this last one, Dawn and I, we all said the same thing, but save for a rainy day, and now the rainy day is here. I have to say, when I worked in senior living, I had a client, a prospect come in with their financial planner. And the financial planner was sitting talking to this lady. She was a lovely lady. She had money, she saved, she worked hard all her life. And he looked at her and he said, you have to understand, you saved for a rainy day and now it's raining now. So now it's time to spend your money. And it's really true. They've saved all these years and now they're like in their 80s and they have to spend a little. And this is what they've saved for. So I think sometimes telling them this is a time to use your savings to ensure that you're well cared for at home and maintaining your independence and peace of mind. And Dawn said, it's raining.
It's raining. There's supposed to be the umbrella got cut off down there at the bottom, but there's an umbrella.
Yeah.
I was going to add in it too for the budget. When you say you work within the budget, they immediately think, oh, they're going to give me a discount.
True.
What you can do is just ask them, what do you have a month to spend? What do you have available to spend on home care each month? And then divide it by your hourly rate, and then that'll give you how many hours a month of care you can provide. And it may be below
Right.
your minimum. It happens sometimes. And in that case, I would give them
Right.
Medicaid's information and hopefully they could maybe they felt, there are people that fall between the cracks. They don't qualify for Medicaid.
Yeah.
They also don't have money. Sometimes the family
Right.
members will pitch in, but working
Sure.
within the budget doesn't mean discount typically, at least not in my book. It just means you've got 1,000 a month. Okay, let's see what we can do with that or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I used to always bring out, I think I've said this a couple of times, but blank calendars, right? That had the whole month and the days of the week. And for some of those people, especially the ones that fall through the cracks, we would say, okay, this is what we can do, and this is where we can fill in. And now I know the slide before this was all about letting family be family, but in some cases, family are like, but we want to help on these days. You guys come the other days, right? And so we would get a calendar together, just blank sheets, and work out a schedule that would fit their budget and then would also use family hours, right? And so that's another thing you can do too.
Yeah, we had a lot of clients like that too, where the families would
Yeah.
do certain hours and so forth. But if
Good job.
this rainy day telling them it's a rainy day, try it. I always used it and it really worked. So once I heard that from their financial planner, if I had somebody concerned, I would let them know you saved. It's hard. They don't like to spend their money. They want to save it for their children. They just don't, it's hard for them to break into that bank account that they've saved for so long. Okay. So they've had a bad experience in the past. Maybe they used another agency. They had a negative experience. They don't want to try it again. The caregivers, they don't show up all the time. Reliability is everything. Our team tracks our caregivers' arrivals and departures. We used to have a tracking sheet that I would show. We really did track on our caregivers on how on time they were when they showed up. And we kept numbers. So I would have a sheet with me and show them, look, we have a 99% show on time show rate, letting them know that you track that. If there's a change ahead of time, there's not going to be any surprises. I'm worried about being neglected or mistreated. We put strong protections in place. We have regular check-ins, client satisfaction calls. We check in, we make sure everything's okay. We check with our caregivers. I know we had a client care director that would make check-ins with all of our clients. So letting them know that you're gonna be checking up and seeing how things are going. I had to keep explaining everything over and over again. I've heard that before. That's why you don't want to keep sending a million different caregivers, because you create a care plan and you once they're trained, because we all know we have some of those clients that are so particular. I remember we had some, you had to put her sheets on a certain way, you had to fold them. Lisa,
Yes.
only these two caregivers knew how to do it. And if you send somebody new, it was going to send that person in disarray.
Yeah.
Letting them know you shouldn't have to repeat yourself. We create a personalized care plan and your caregiver is going to be ready, understand your routines and preferences. And like I said, especially with somebody like that, you really have to keep the caregivers at a minimum of the same people, because they're never going to be happy if things are not done to perfection. They changed services for me and I didn't get. That's frustrating. Our billing is transparent. You'll see exactly what you're paying for with no hidden fees. Unfortunately, sometimes there are some home care agencies that they've had bad experiences with, and you're just going to have to promote how you're reputable, you're going to be on top of things and try and overcome those objections. But this is the kind of the way it is. I know there were some agencies I would never refer, that they had caregivers that I would never trust and they were never showing up. But I know the agency I worked for, we were great. We made sure that if we couldn't show up, I always said this, and in our office, we led this. If a caregiver doesn't show up and we
One
can't
of us
find a
will show up.
replacement, one of us from the office will come. I don't know if Lisa and Dawn, if you did that, but there were times that I
Yeah.
went caregiving.
Yeah, that's how I want it to be. And that pisses me off that Amy.
Oh, I'm trying to mute. I don't know who this is. It's talking.
Okay, somebody was
I think
talking. Oops.
everybody's muted.
Okay.
So I would like to add to this, Annette. So when I had people that had that bad experience, because they're also, it ties into the money, because we have a company here in Arizona, I won't say the name of it, that's just, everybody knows they're no good, but they're very inexpensive. And so when they would say, I've used whatever home care agency it is, even if you don't know the name of it, when we'd start talking about, they'd tell me all the things, and then I would say all the things that Annette has given you on this slide. I would say, so I'm just curious, how much did that company charge? And they might be $2 less an hour than us. And I wouldn't say you get what you pay for, but I would, in a careful way.
Yeah,
Sometimes you get what you pay for. I wouldn't say it like that, but I would get that point across, because sometimes that extra dollar an hour, we can hire better people. That money is going to the caregiver. I guess that's what I would add to that, because home care has been around long enough now that a lot of people have had a lot of experience with it. Years ago, it used to be, I don't even know how to navigate this. This is so weird. Someone's going to come to my house. It's not like that anymore. They've been through 2-3 companies sometimes before they get to you.
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. All right. This is a big one too. Fear of theft or abuse in the home. People, seniors, families, they're very hesitant. They watch the news, they see things that happen, and there's people that just really, they don't trust. It could be their dementia, or like I said, just watching things on the news. You hear it all the time. That's why I always would tell them, you want to make sure you have a reputable agency, somebody that background checks these private. Sometimes people use private caregivers and you just don't know who they are. If they say, I'm afraid someone might steal from me, That's a very valid fear. You deserve to be completely safe in your home, letting them know that you completely screen every caregiver. You have national background checks, reference checks, personal interviews. In addition, you track your caregivers and that they're always in control of who enters in their home. I've heard stories about seniors being taken advantage of, letting them know, sadly, we've heard these stories too, understanding and how you take extra precautions. You're bonded, you're insured, that you provide the family with direct access to a care manager. If I know we had a care manager, but somebody who can oversee things, stopping in, making sure everything's okay. Our caregivers are trained in ethics, privacy, elder respect. We would always tell everybody this. We encourage you to lock your valuables away, not because we expect that, but because it gives you extra peace of mind. We even did a step further. When we went grocery shopping, our caregivers, we didn't want the clients to give them cash or a credit card. So they would get a gift card from the local grocery store. And we would have a gift card, and we said this way there's no worry about giving your credit card or giving cash. But just we always encourage people to keep their valuables locked.
We had a question from Madeline. It looks like she's typed it, those spam calls and emails. Did you want to tell us?
That's a huge one.
Madeline? It is a huge one. I think it's helpful. Go ahead to have a
I was
caregiver.
gonna say, I have a client that literally will open any email, even if it says Wells Fargo and there's a link, and just answering every call. So that would be a cool like luncheon to do, or even in a community, because they are very just, what is this email? I need to respond type thing.
Yeah, yeah. Or the calls where they'll call and say, "Oh, I just need your debit card number. Or I just need the code on the back. I can't." Yeah, they do fall for those things. I think that would be a great thing to present in a community, a senior
yeah.
community,
Yeah,
educating them about.
definitely.
Great idea, Madeline.
Yeah, that actually, we used to have those presentations a lot around here, and some financial planners would do it, or it's important because there's so much out there.
Yeah.
And they get these emails and people call them and they just think they're doing everything okay, but it's important to educate them on that.
Exactly.
There's even some I've heard that they say, "Hi grandma. Hi
Yeah.
grandma, it's me. I need this or that." And so that's just wild to me. That's a target, but it is.
I had someone call me recently and say they were from Amazon and said my last charge didn't go through. And they said, we just need the code off the back of your card. And I said, what was the charge? How much was it? And he goes, I don't know. You tell me. And I'm like, I think you would know that answer. They don't know to probe and ask more questions. So it's a really scary world out there for them.
Yeah,
I think they come from that era too, where if you're an official, they listen to you. And so if it's like official business, they're like, oh my God, they're like trained almost to just be like, oh, it's official business. That's Wells Fargo. I must answer.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing too.
Well, also too, like caregivers can help clients as you opening up their mail, sorting their mail, because there's some people that have dementia, or when they'll start sending checks to everybody. But we used to have some clients that we used to help like open their mail and sort things, save things for the daughter where all the bills had to be paid. We wouldn't do the bills or anything like that. But sometimes too, we had caregivers that would bring to our attention that they were concerned that their client was maybe sending money to places that they shouldn't. And then we would get somebody else involved. There were different people we could call, or we'd call the family or somebody, maybe they would hire somebody to do the person's bills, but it's something that your caregivers could keep attention to.
We have another question, Annette. How do you chat during an assessment about asking that the potential client or family meeting a couple or a few caregivers so they decide who will work in their home? Oh,
I always hated that.
Oh, I hate the meeting. It's so
Same.
awful. Annette, do you want to take that
Well,
one?
I'll say what I said, and then you could tell me what you did, Dawn. So Marie, I have to say, Marie, I always was like, oh, I didn't like to have a caregiver come and before we even start and have them interview them. So I tried my best to say, let me think back, but I would say normally don't do this. I take all of this information that I've gathered from you today, and I go to my scheduler, and we're going to find a really good match for you. The day that we start, we'll come and we'll introduce them. And for some reason it's not a good fit, you can let us know. But I do have to say, sometimes they just insisted. So I would be okay but then we would have them pay for the hour or the 2 hours that they met them. I don't know if you did that, Dawn, but if they wanted to meet somebody in advance,
Yes,
they
they
would
had
have
to pay
to.
for sure.
So what I would do is I would say, unless you're going to, so we don't usually do this, and I'm going to tell you why. So
Right.
if we're going to do the meet and greet the exact same time you're going to have service, possibly, because that caregiver is available at this moment
Right.
in time.
Right.
It's Tuesday, 3 o'clock, and Thursday at 3
Right.
o'clock, and that's it. And if you want to meet them at a different time, they're probably not going to be your caregiver because they're not available at that time. So that's one piece of it. Then they start to
Right.
understand, oh, this is a scheduling nightmare, right? It can't, for us, not for them, but that it's more than just, here's this person. The other thing I would tell them, because this would also help with the beginning where things aren't leveled out yet and you've got 2 or 3 caregivers coming in because nobody's sticking. So that happens sometimes. So I
Right.
would say in the beginning, oftentimes, we're going to send you a couple of different caregivers for your first few shifts because we're trying to get that balance. We're trying to figure out what works best for you. Match personalities, match chemistry. So one,
Right.
that keeps you from doing the meet and greet because they can do it right then and there. Two, when you have a lot of in and out with caregivers, they're expecting it a little bit for a better reason than what might actually be going on. That almost always worked every time. I'm not saying I've never done
Yeah.
a meet and greet. I've done them, but I don't like them because
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, that person's not going to be available. They
Right.
say they can do it, and now their daughter's off and doing soccer and they have to drop
Right.
them. There's just so many things that are
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
How
it's too
about you,
much.
Lisa? What do you say?
It's same. I have done them. They always are no good. And I do have them. We're going to have to charge you for a shift. So it's going to be like a shift, even if they're there the whole time or not. And it just ends up being, like you said, they'll say they're available, or you can work your magic sometimes. And I always tell them I have a couple ideas of someone I think would work out if I do end up having to do a meet and greet. But yeah, very few have I done because it's just a waste of time because they don't end up being the caregiver usually anyways. But and Dawn said you just explain that and go through it and say we can have a couple trials where people come out and that's
Right.
regular
Right.
shifts. So yeah, all the same stuff. I never
Yeah.
liked the meet and greets. It was horrible.
Yeah, your scheduler is going to get upset, but you just know it's just oh, come on. It's a pain to do. And if you talk to them, talk it through with them, usually you can avoid it. But once in a great while, we may have had a high level client that we had to try somebody
Right.
out, but
Or
I
the
always,
other home care agency that they're talking to is going to do
right,
a meet and greet. So why
right.
can't you do one? And to that I would still say the same thing I said. And if you really want me to do it, but 9 times out of 10, whoever they're going to introduce you to is probably not going to be your caregiver. It's just the way that
Yeah.
it works. I've been doing this a long
Right.
time. So yeah.
Okay.
And that's exactly why you have an agency, because of that very reason we can
Yeah.
pull from other areas.
Exactly. It's not a private caregiver who's a one and done. Now you have to go look
Right.
all over again for another person. Yeah.
It's funny how we all feel the same way because
Oh, I know.
Oh,
You should write a
it's
book.
horrible.
don't ask me
I
that
just-
question.
I like PTSD'd in my head, and I just
Yeah, me
remember.
too.
I know when she
I
said
was
that,
like,
I
oh my
thought, oh, the
gosh.
meet and greet.
Think
Oh
about
my
this. What
God,
I used
the
to say.
Yeah, she even put the word cringe. They cringe. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
cringe, 100%.
Absolutely. All right. Okay.
funny.
So that's it for today. And thank you. I hope you guys got something out of it. Let us know if you have
Yeah,
any
it's very
questions.
good. We're going to go
Drop
through
them
the
in
leave
chat box.
behinds now.
We're going to do the leave behinds. Remember, for those of you who are interested, we have our 90-day sales training program. We still have some openings for tomorrow. Still time to sign up.
Yeah.
We have the dates listed. We'd love to have you join us. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We did right on an hour, just like a minute over. Everybody
All
have
right,
a
you
great
guys.
week, and we'll see you in a couple weeks, okay?
Yep. Take care.
Take
Don't
care.
be strangers. Bye.
Bye, everybody.